welcome to a brand new episode here on 1950's Farm. So what are we up to today? Well, today we are chopping corn. Yes, we are harvesting the little bit of corn that we have. And I've got to say this John Deere corn chopper is doing very, very good. Very, very good indeed. So I'm very happy. Quite where we're going to put the hobs of corn, I have no idea, but I'm sure we'll find somewhere for them. But we are obviously going to need another tractor because we're going to need to tow this trailer once it's full to the shed or wherever we're going to tip them. I think we probably will tip them in the soybean shed. I think that's probably going to end up being favourite, but we'll wait and see. I probably should have established where I was going to tip it before I started harvesting it, really, but there we go. I didn't, so we'll have to wing and prayer it, I'm afraid. So I hope you're all doing well on this lovely Thursday afternoon. It's very cool and dark and murky, and it keeps trying to rain and all of that kind of good stuff. So yeah, I hope you're well. I thought I would try my hardest and do a little bit of a chatty video today, seeing as we're only doing this field. This field in theory shouldn't take that long. I think by the time we finish chatting, I think this field would be a good way done sort of thing. So yeah, I thought we'd give it a go. As you can see, as you know from the last episode, I got the soybeans harvested, so that's good. Just got the two fields at mine now to harvest, but they'll have to wait because we're very busy at the dairy here. So the field to my left is going to be ploughed. Next job for that field is to be ploughed, or the next job on the farm is to plough that field, and then we need to start getting that broken down and drilled. So we're not really running out of time as such, but there is not an abundance of time. We have to get on, and as I say, like doing this job and then getting that ploughed, then it will be over to ours, do our soybeans, then it will be muck spread the field in front of us, and then once we've muck spreaded the field in front of us or to the left of us, or but the field, what was the wheat field, once we've done that, then we are going to be in good shape, because as I say, once we get that muck spread, we can then get it ploughed, and then we can drill it in the spring or plant it in the spring. It's going to take a little while, but I have got a new drill for this autumn. It hasn't arrived yet on the farm, but the dairy, I said in quite a few episodes ago now, I think it was, that the dairy bought, because this crawler is supposed to be the John Deere one, but I can't find a modded John Deere crawler anywhere, so I've had to go with this crawler just because it is as close to the John Deere one as I could get. But with the reason John Deere built a crawler was to prove that they could go bigger with the implements, still keep and maintain the traction that you would have had with the smaller implements, and tracks were better, and so John Deere built the crawler, and then they built the big plough that we've got, which came, I can't remember if it came the same year, because I was reading up about it the other day, and I can't remember if it was the same year or if it was a year later than the plough. I'm sure, because I've got it on the game, I'm pretty certain it would have come the same year as the crawler, and that's the reason why we've already got it, because the seed drill was due to be released the same year as the tractor, the crawler tractor, but I think it said something like production issues and problems is what stopped it from being released that year. That because obviously, I mean, on the farm that I worked on, um, you know, we would get brands that would come to us and say, we've developed this. Would you please consider would you use it for this autumn or this spring or whatever, and then sort of kind of tell us what you think of it, and what we maybe need to change or improve on it, and that's a very common thing on most farms, and yeah, we very often used to get them, but John Deere had sent the seed drill to quite a few farms, and they sort of said no, it's not quite right yet. It's got a few issues, so that I think that ended up delaying the seed drill for a year. And like I say, I was reading about now. Where are we going to put these? Let's have a look around. We don't really want to put them in the same shed as the corn. Just what could put them in here? Maybe just tip them up against this wall. Yeah, we'll probably go with that. Don't need to tip them too far back. That does sit quite low on that tractor, doesn't it? There's no wonder it kept getting stuck in the straw. Probably ought to consider putting the forward end on this trailer, just because the forward end does hold this trailer up a little bit. What we'll do is save ourselves any real shunting about. I know we're not going to be able to do this for very long, but just for now, first tip or two, we should be able to drive through this doorway and then turn and then get ourselves squared up, and then once we're squared up we should be able to tip. We'll tip it, we won't tip it right in the corner, and we also won't tip it right up against the wall, because unfortunately these sheds don't have no tip collisions, as you've probably seen one I've been when we was going around with the corn harvester, that it was the soybeans were poking out the side of the shed. So we won't go fully back, or at least we'll try not to. Yeah, that's probably okay. And then just tracking the trailer. Oh, there we go. There we are. Now, of course, many people have pointed out to me that those metal cages that I originally said that you put straw in, and it was a way of keeping the straw before you threshed it, was so far off the mark, it was unreal. And a lot of people pointed out that actually Monkey Boy, it's a corn crib, and you put corn in there and it dries them out, and then you deal with the corn from there, and because I said it was used for wheat, which in this country it looks very similar to something that we did use for wheat, but my good friend Ray, who helps me out with the 1950 series, said to me, no, it's not even that. He said they were very different, and funnily enough, for a day, 2 days ago, something like that, he took me to a farm in Lincoln that's still threshing the old-fashioned way, and we went up there and saw them doing some wheat, and they were cutting it with a tractor, but laying it down and then gathering up the wheat, sort of stalks, or still basically just cut the whole plant, didn't separate the head from the straw, and they were putting it into something that I thought those metal cages were, but they're very different when you get up to them, very, very different. And Ray quite rightly said, how would you get the straw A in there and B out again? And quite a few other people on messages in the YouTube comments have kind of said the same. So hold my hands up there, got that one wrong, but that's no problem. But I'm guessing that's possibly where you would have put the corn cobs, or would the corn cobs go in there still attached, if you like, to the leaves and the foliage and stuff like that? I'm still not 100%. I've been sort of looking on YouTube for videos of corn cribs, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I haven't had a huge amount of time to sort of kind of look it up, but I haven't really sort of found anything that I've sort of found useful in educating myself. But I will look up. I mean, at the moment, you know, it's I'm getting to that point now again where I might have a day or two where I can actually catch up with some stuff. I'd said in a previous episode, I don't know which episode it was, and it wasn't necessarily in 1950's Farm either, but I had a look at doing Discord, because I said I wanted to get that up and running. Downloaded it, I got it sorted, so I have now got an account and everything, so it means I will be able to put that up. But I opened it, went to talk to my brother who's on Discord, and the amount of memory that Discord seemed to suck off my computer whilst I was running it and trying to play Farm Sim, means I just can't run it at the moment. When I get my new computer, if then I'll be able to run it, because obviously the computer that I'm going to buy, the new computer, is going to be memoried up to heaven and back. Do you know what I mean? It's going to have a lot of memory. When we get much nearer to the time of me wanting a new computer, or when I'm coming up to the time of me buying a new computer, I'm going to look for a few. They will be a Chill Blast computer, mainly because I've had Chill Blast in the past, and honestly, I can't speak highly enough of them. The service that the company offers you is absolutely second to none. I had a problem with this computer when I first bought it. Plugged it all in, got it all onto my TV, and it wouldn't play Farm Sim, it wouldn't play any games. And I rang them up, within, I don't know, 2 minutes they had the whole thing sorted, and completely sort of done, so that I was able to do what I wanted to do. And yeah, so it will be a Chill Blast machine, but at the moment I'm a long way off that. As I say, I've got to save up. I'm thinking about as well, what else I might need to go with the new computer. So yeah, lots of memory. Obviously, a very good graphics card's going to be very handy. I mean, my computer, as it stands at the moment, is more than capable of playing this game on maxed out settings, and the computer doesn't mind at all. I choose to play it on medium, just because I think then, in theory, in my head, and I'm not a tech, so I might be talking complete rubbish again here, but in my mind, playing the game on medium means the graphics card doesn't have to work as hard, which means it doesn't get as hot, which means it might end up lasting longer. Now, I might be completely wrong on that. I know nothing about computers or anything like that, but in my mind, that's the theory, and the theory fits my narrative. So I'm going with it until someone in the comment section tells me down below it has absolutely no difference bearing or whatever. Just run the blooming thing at full pace, and you'll not see a difference in anything. I did very briefly when I first had the computer, because the graphical power of the computer is I can't remember if this one is the 6 gig one or the 12 gig one. I can't remember. No, I can't remember it. I can't remember which one it is. I'll look it up after I've recorded this video, and then I will know. I'm fairly certain it's the 6 gig NVIDIA graphics card. I'm almost certain on that. But as I say, like when I first got it, I was playing every game on max settings. There's only one game that my graphics card struggles with, and I have no idea why. And I have turned the settings down as well, so it kind of doesn't make sense to me. But this game also causes my processor to work in overdrive, and that is Ranch Simulator. Now, I'd quite like to do a series on Ranch Simulator, just as a kind of, sort of play along, kind of easygoing, relaxing sort of series where we don't take life too seriously. We have a bit of fun, and we sort of let our hair down for an episode. For half hour, 40 minutes, whatever. We sort of just have a bit of a laugh. But as I say, and I love the game. The game is brilliant, but it makes my processor run flat out the whole time that I've got the game loaded. And it doesn't matter what settings I have it on. It does make the game quite sort of laggy and juddery, if you know what I mean. So if you try and use the mouse to look around, it's sort of a bit slow and a bit shaky to respond. And at first I thought it was because I was cutting down too many trees, and that's what sort of my computer couldn't cope with. But it's doing that now without me sort of cutting down any tree. So it's kind of, it seems to be when I get to a point, when I get like the house built and some sheds built and the greenhouse is built, that's when it tends to start happening. So I'm sort of kind of a little bit, I don't know why it does it. It's the only game it does it on. I have, as you know, I have Supermarket Simulator as well, and that for some reason makes my graphics card run, not my graphics card, sorry, my processor run sort of at hyper speed. So again, I only play that for about 20 minutes, and then I sort of switch it off. So I'm not really sure why. And sort of the YouTubers that I've seen playing these games, I've asked them whether it does that to their computer, and they've all said that it doesn't. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, because, as I say, it's to me it's a bit of a mystery sort of thing. But I don't know. I say, give me your thoughts in the comments of why that might be the case, because, as I say, definitely Ranch Simulator I'd love to do a series on. I think that would be a sort of playthrough where we start from scratch, start with nothing, and well, you basically start with a tent and a house that's pretty much fallen down, and your first job is to demolish the house and everything, and sort of start from there. And you have to go out hunting and sort of do different bits and pieces and what have you. And it's a really good game. I really enjoy it, and I would put many more hours into it if my processor didn't have to run flat out the whole time it was on, and if it wasn't so juddery and shaky. Like, it's just, I don't know, I don't know why it does it. Like, it's a bit weird, but there we go. I mean, let me know in the comments as well what games you like playing. So, obviously I play Farming Sim. Obviously I play Farming Sim a heck of a lot. Obviously I'm recording sort of pretty much all day, every day. Although yesterday morning I did have a morning off, because I went to the cinema, and it was much more reasonably priced this time around. So I went to see Twister at the cinema, and it was, can't remember if it was £6.50 or £7.50. I think it might have been £7.50. But that was a lot more reasonable. But I didn't have a drink or anything, and I also didn't have nothing to eat or anything. So I'm not really keen on popcorn, and I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight, so I didn't even buy myself any sweets or anything. But yeah, as I say, but I went to see that film, and it's a good film. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best film I've seen, I'll say that much. I can't make my mind up whether it was as good as the original or better than the original. I don't think it was better than the original, but I can't decide whether I enjoyed it as much as what I enjoyed the original, with I think Bill Paxton, I think, wasn't he? if memory serves. I mean, my memory probably doesn't serve, but because, as I say, we're still getting over this sort of coldy, fluey, whatever bug that we've had, and it's been a bit of a nightmare as this thing. But as I say, I eventually last Friday went to the doctors, and he took one look at me and said, like, is it on your chest? And I said, it's going that way, I can feel it. And he's like, okay, fair enough. And he just said, like, we'll give you really strong antibiotics, and we'll try and stop it before it gets to your chest, and also as well stop it before it turns into pneumonia, which my dad had many years ago, and is not a pleasant thing. So yeah, a good strong dose of antibiotics, and I'm starting to sort of feel half human again. But it's as I say. But so yeah, I went to the cinema and watched that. Which is always good. I might go again next week. I might I might go and see Deadpool and Wolverine. Not really my type of film, but the trailer was on, and I sort of saw it, and I thought, yeah, do you know what? Give it a go, see what happens. And I sat there and I said to myself, I'll give it a go. So probably go next week and see that. Last Thursday went to Great Yarmouth and saw Sarah Millican, and she was very funny. The support act or the warm-up act or whatever he was that was on before it was absolutely bloody awful. I mean, he really was terrible. Sort of kind of, I'm sitting there listening to him and I'm thinking, you're a comedian and none of this is funny. It's like he was trying to be funny about observations, and he just wasn't. It was almost like he was sort of kind of stood there telling us facts, rather than telling us an observation and then making a joke out of it, which is what Sarah did quite a lot. She talked about sort of experiences that she's had over the last 12 months since the last show that I saw, or 18, I think it might be 18 months actually. And then she was sort of telling us what she'd seen, but making really funny jokes and stories out of it, whereas he was just kind of, I was just stupid. It was like, he had a smartwatch, and he had to stop wearing it apparently because the watch was too smart and it was making him jealous. And I'm sort of thinking, to be fair, mate, if you had an abacus on your arm, it would make you feel jealous. I mean, it honestly, he was awful. Like, we had 25 minutes of him. 25 minutes of just listening to this. And he was another thing as well. He goes, I'm not on social media, and so I shouted out, no, that's because you need friends. Which was a bit harsh, seeing as I'm not on social media myself, and I don't actually have. Well, I don't have any friends, apart from a few guys that I talk to, a few YouTube viewers that I talk to, that I do quite like, and I sort of kind of look forward to the messages and the banter that I get from them, because it does make me smile. And sometimes if you're having a bit of a difficult day, either to get one and read it or to sort of read back over some past ones is really good. So that's the closest thing really I've got to friends at the moment. But basically, the reason I don't have friends is because of the way I was 10 or 15 years ago. I talked about in a Britain's episode that I started to see, I didn't never see him, I didn't ever meet him, but started to talk to this guy called Alan and this girl Jasmine, who I did meet one Christmas. She took me Christmas shopping, and made me violently ill. But I will say this, however many years on, it was the best thing that could have happened because, well, I say it's the best thing that could have happened. It was a necessary evil, in order to get me to where I wanted to be. But yeah, 10, 15 years ago, I really wasn't a very nice person, and I was kind. The thing is, I was angry at the world, and that's not something that you need. And because I was angry at the world itself, I was angry at everyone that was in it. And the only person that never really ever judged me for that, and the only person that ever saw me at my worst, was Emma, my little boy's mum, and she was amazing. You know, and I've said before, and I'll say it a million times, if it wasn't for that girl, I wouldn't be alive today. She pulled me out of some really dark places, and was always there, never judged. I'd get angry, I would shout, I would scream, I would punch doors, walls. I would get really, I was never sort of physical or violent towards her. It was always sort of inanimate objects, doors, walls, throwing things across the room, as I say, shouting and screaming and what have you. But my temper never ever did get to a point where I hit anybody, whether it be her or anybody else. There was a period in my early sort of mid-teens, once after I left school, where I did used to get in fights quite a lot, but you know it's not something that obviously I'm proud of. But as I say, 10, 15 years ago, I was not a nice person. No one wanted to know me. As I said, apart from Emma, I didn't really have anybody else that wanted to be sort of friends with me. I had my family, obviously, but even they struggled to understand. And now when one or two of them say some not very nice things about Emma, I politely remind them that if it wasn't for Emma, then as I say, they wouldn't have me, because I was really low. And like I say, a lot of it stems from when I was younger. Um, you know, Firstly having the heart condition and sort of not being able to do anything that I wanted to do. I couldn't go on fairground rides, couldn't play football, couldn't play cricket, couldn't play rugby, you know, couldn't do all of the normal things that, lads my age were doing, and when you're that age, that's hard. Now as a 43-year-old, none of that bothers me. Do you know what I mean? Like, now I just, if there's something in life now that I can't do, I just go, well, I can't do that, but I can do that. So, you know, I always say we'll meet in the bar and call it a draw, because, what are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? Are you going to sit and cry about it? Or are you just going to get on with it? And so now I just get on with it. But back then, as I say, I was very, very anti-world, very anti-everybody, and yeah, I was not a nice person, and ever since then, and this is what I try and sort of tell kids now that are probably misbehaving and causing a lot of problems and what have you. I always say to them, your reputation will precede you for the rest of your life. So make sure that the reputation and the perception and imagery that you portray of yourself to everybody else from the earliest age possible is a really good one, because if not, like me, I'm 43, and a lot of people still regard me as the James back then, not the James now. And as I say, it is hard, and as I say, the way I was, sort of 10, 15 years ago, means that I can't shake that off. It doesn't matter what I do now. It's irrelevant what I do now, because people always go, yeah, but he was like that. And so it's tough. And anyone that is listening to this that is going through a difficult time, as I said in that Britain's episode, just talk to someone, because if you're, sort of creating problems and, misbehaving and getting into fights and trouble, that reputation that you're building yourself now will stick with you, and it's very, very hard to shake it off. And as I say, I've been now what I call sort of better since 2000 and sort of 1920, when I really started to notice massive differences in myself. And sort of 4 or 5 years on, people still see me as the person before, not the person after. um, the only person really that I think sees the new James all of the time is my ex, who I've recently broken up from. I think she kind of understands the James now, because she never knew the James then. And as I say, it's tough, because you just can't shake it off. And yeah, just be very careful and mindful about how you are looking towards everyone else. And that doesn't mean that you've got to be self-conscious, but that just means that you'll portray yourself in the best light possible, and the best manner possible. um, and then you're going to give yourself the best chance of going through life and actually achieving and being something. I mean, when I was sort of growing up, when I hit secondary school, I remember, and I've still got it. I still look at it even today. This exercise book, and I wrote in there, I think like the front page, and I wrote in that exercise book that I wanted to be able to drive a car, wanted to work on a farm, I wanted to get married, and have my own family. And yes, I do have a family, as in I have Thomas, um, you know, but I've never been married, and it doesn't look like I'm ever going to get married now. And that does bother me. That bothers me quite a lot, to be fair. That I very often sort of sit and contemplate that and sort of think. I look at the list, and I look at how much I've achieved off that list, and yet the one thing that I really wanted to achieve off that list, I'm probably not going to do now. And that's really hard for me to come to terms with, because, as I say, I would forgo the driving of a car, I would forgo working on a farm and all of that, just to be happy. And as well, like, with my ex, and that I've recently just split up with, she was the one that, as I say, that I wanted to, that I really wanted to marry, but it just wasn't to be. And sometimes that's the case. And I think, in truth, with that relationship, I think I was thinking about it the other day, and I think I sabotaged that relationship myself deliberately, because I don't know. In the beginning, for the first 6 months or so, everything was great, everything was new, everything was exciting, and it was just how you sort of, I don't know, sort of the image that you build in your head that it is, and then it got to probably about 7 to 8 months into the first year. So the first 7 or 8 months in the relationship. Around that point, I started to think, okay, when's she going to leave me? When is she going to say, oh, actually, I've been seeing someone else? Oh, actually, I've been, you know, blah blah blah. I mean, she was on her phone all of the time, which is not unusual. um, but Emma was on her phone and tablet all the time, and I sort of, every time she was on, and I was kind of thinking, well, this is what Emma was like, and what have you. And then we sort of got to a point where, with nothing happening, she sort of went from the first few months of leaving the phone wherever and going off and not bothering leaving it in, with me. And then it got to the stage where everywhere she went, that phone went, and it was never left with me. And that means nothing, and I understand that now. Now I'm out of the situation, that means absolutely nothing. But in my paranoid mind, that was all the evidence I needed. I didn't need anything else. And so, this sort of February just gone this year, I don't know. I think I just drove myself mad, and in the end, I kind of just sort of thought to myself, right, if I end it, I'll never find out whether she is seeing someone else, which I don't think she was. I mean, if I'm honest, I think it was all in my head. And like I say, I think I deliberately, in my own mind, sort of, sabotaged it and ruined it and everything, just because, I was afraid of losing someone that I really cared about. I cared a lot about, and I still do. I still do really care about her and adore her and everything. And so, I'm sort of a bit cross with myself because, as I say, that me and Emma were engaged, but I don't know. I kind of knew we'd never get married. I think from day one, I kind of knew that in the end it wouldn't work out. In the end that it wouldn't. And I mean, it lasted. I can't remember if it was 12 or 15 years. I think it's 12. I think it was 12 years that it lasted, and it did really, really well, and but yeah, this one, as I say, after sort of not quite 2 years, as I say, I kind of had built it up in my head so much and so badly that in the end I just kind of ended it before I found out something that I didn't want to find out. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think I ever would have found that out. I don't think that was happening, but it was just a case of, I think, in my own mind, I couldn't take that risk. I couldn't allow myself to be happy just in case I became sad again. And so, as I say, I did what I did, and I ended the relationship at the worst possible time, because we were going through a difficult stage. And the thing was as well, around that time, the kissing and the cuddling stopped and everything. And again, in my mind, that was like, it was another piece of non-evidence, if you like. And now, as I sort of kind of think about it a lot, which I think about her a lot as well, I sort of think, why did I do that? Why didn't I just kind of say, do you know what, actually, yeah, you might get hurt at the end of this, who knows, but let's just really enjoy it while we've got it, and that's what I should have done, and I didn't, so there we go. That was quite a bit deep and meaningful there. Probably at the beginning of this episode I wasn't intending to talk about anything like that, but yeah, it just comes from me chatting away. And as I say, I quite like these kind of videos where sort of you find out a little bit about me, or we chat about farming, or we chat about whatever sort of thing. I think the one thing that I've always thought, and this is not something that someone's told me or anything like that, but I know from my own experiences when I'm watching YouTube, I sometimes sort of watch videos and I sort of think, this is all brilliant, but I'd like to know you a little bit. I'd like to know why you do the things you do, do you know what I mean? Like, and so when I'd sort of kind of decided that I was going to do a YouTube channel and do farming sim videos, I kind of sort of thought I would like, as the videos go out and as time passes, for the people that do watch my videos to know a little bit about me, to kind of have that connection that, here's a guy, he's comfortable with us because he's telling us stuff about his personal life, his private life, whatever. And that's kind of sort of what I wanted. I wanted you to have, I wanted a connection. And the only way that's going to happen is if you can kind of like sort of get to know me and understand me and my life and stuff like that. And then as time goes by, you'll feel more confident and comfortable in the comment sections, or whether it be Discord, or whether it'll be any other means of sort of getting in touch. I mean, one thing I have kind of thought about doing, which I have no idea how to do, but is getting a Facebook page and getting a Twitter page, or whatever you call them, or whatever it is, and sort of, maybe even WhatsApp or something, and having it so that, you guys can sort of talk to me via there as well, if you want to talk in private and not in, sort of like the comments, well, about anything, farming, sort of, if you've got like, I mean, funnily enough, yesterday I was sat at my desk and I was recording away. Luckily, it was while I was doing some time-lapse recording, and my phone goes, and it was my friend Chris, or who I used to go to school with. Still know him. I wouldn't really say we're friends. We never sort of meet up for a drink or anything like that, but I still know him, and occasionally when I bump into him, we stand and chat for a little while. And he rang me up and said, Jimmy, I'm ploughing and I've got a massive kink into it. How do I get it out? Because I want to do it straight. And so it was kind of, sort of helping him with that. I mean, as it was, he wasn't that far away, and I just went up there, and within probably about 5 or 6 breeds, I'd virtually got him straight. And and said to him, look, the biggest mistake that everyone makes when ploughing is they steer the tractor. You don't do that. Steer the plough, not the tractor. And it took him a while to get his head around that, but as I say, once we sort of started going up and down, and I sort of showed him, he began to get it, and I said to him, like, now it's just doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it until eventually you can do it straight. I said it won't come straight away, and you're really going to have to sort of work at it, sort of thing. But I said you will eventually get there. So if there's anything to do with farming, any questions, any kind of how do I do this, or whatever, if I can help, I will. And that's with anything in life. If I can help you, I will. And as I say, I know sort of with all the series that I'm doing that my schedule is pretty full every day of recording. If someone needs a hand, or someone needs an ear to listen, then I will always make the time for anyone, because there's nothing in life more important than human beings, and being that ear that listens, or that person that offers a little bit of advice. So that's no no bother, sort of thing. And I think it's very important. I think that's what the world at the moment has kind of lost sight of a little bit. So. But yeah, anyway, we are very nearly finished. We have got just one little strip to do. And I have to say, I do thoroughly enjoy doing the corn. Last year we used that little John Deere A with the corn knives on the front and the spout on the back, and sort of did it that way, and it it went, I think, 2 miles an hour, didn't it? So it took a little while to do the fields, but yeah, as I say, I enjoy doing the corn, and I've enjoyed doing it this way, and it's been very enjoyable as well to chat to you good people, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. And yeah, I think this is as good a place as any to leave the episode, and say we've done the field now. So eventually, if we've got a bit of manure left over, we'll chuck it on here and then plough it in, but if not, we'll just plough it. As I say, we've got that field to plough and drill within sort of the next day or so. We've got that field there to muck spread and plough, and then we've got our 2 fields, I think it is, of soybeans to get done on our farm. And then also as well, we need to get them ploughed as well. But yeah, we can do that. That's no problem. But yeah, so thanks ever so much for watching, and you know, and listening to me rattle on. It's very much appreciated. And so hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. If you haven't done already, please consider to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel. We're very, very close now to hitting the September target of 475 subscribers. We're only about 4 away now. I think three or four away now. So if you could, if you think you've subscribed, but actually you look and you haven't, if you could just consider hitting that subscribe button. It takes no more than a couple of seconds, and as I say, it really helps the channel. But all that's left for me to say is thanks ever so much for joining me on this episode. I've really enjoyed having your company, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.